Just a minute. Okay, good evening, friends. So today we are going to discuss 10 important topics, not 10, like 8 to 9 important topics that we are going to discuss from international relations perspective. Like these topics are important for the prelims examination for this year. Okay, so let us go ahead and see those topics quickly. Okay, so today we are going to discuss these topics. Okay, we are going to discuss these topics. These are Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. Then we will see group of 20. We will look into group of 7. We will understand about BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. We will look into Arctic Council. We will see the Caribbean Community, which is also known as CARICOM. Then we will see Indian Ocean Dialogue 2019. These are the important topics that we are going to look into today. So first topic is Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Okay, this is Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. Why it was in news? Because India has been recently invited to join the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization in the capacity of an observer. Okay, so India was invited there to join this organization in the capacity of an observer. So that's why it is important for us to know about the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. It is a multilateral treaty and bans all nuclear explosions for both civilian and military purposes in all environment. Okay, so this is the purpose, and it is a multilateral treaty. Multilateral treaty means it has multiple organizations, like multiple countries as its members. Then it was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1996. So far, 184 countries have signed the treaty, and 168 of them have also ratified it. Okay. So the thing is, this particular treaty came into force. Okay, so it will come into force when all the 44 countries which possesses nuclear capability and research reactors agree to sign and ratify. So there are 44 nations globally that have the nuclear capacity and they have research reactors. Okay, if those countries sign and ratify, if all those 44 countries sign and ratify, then it will come into force. And if we talk about India, so India, North Korea, and Pakistan have neither signed the treaty nor they have ratified it. Okay, whereas China, Egypt, Iran, Israel, and United States have signed but not ratified. Okay, so India has not signed, has not ratified the treaty. Now, in order to operationalize this treaty, some measures have been taken to build trust among the states. What are the measures? One of the thing is the preparatory commission for the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. So this particular preparatory commission has been, instituted. It was established in 1997. It has been working towards the bringing the treaty into force, making preparations for the effective implementation, in particular by establishing its um, verification regime and also operate the international monitoring system. Okay. Then the CTBT, which is Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Verification Regime. It constantly monitors the planet for nuclear explosions and shares its findings with the member states. It consists of the IMS. IMS stands for International Monitoring System, which is a global network of sensors to detect possible nuclear explosions. Then it has another organization under it, which is International Data Center. Then on-site inspections are also done by this organization. Okay. So why India has not joined the treaty? So India has some reservations. Those reservation has been mentioned over here. You can read it in your free time. Okay, I'll be sharing this document with you. So India says that CTBT divides the world permanently into nuclear haves and have-nots. Okay, then no time frame mentioned to dismantle existing nuclear weapons. Then it does not address India's security concerns. Then it would hinder India's strategic nuclear program development. So these are the reservations that India has, okay, before India signs this treaty. And apart from this, we do have some other, initiatives internationally. Those initiatives are Nuclear Weapons Prohibition Treaty of 2017. Then we have Conference on Disarmament. We have Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, okay, NPT, which came into existence in 1968. So this is all about this Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. Let us move to the next topic, which is Group of 20. We will see G20 now. Why it was in news? Because the 14th G20 summit was recently held in Osaka, Japan. Okay, so that's why it was in news. If we talk about its membership, okay, so the thing is, there are 20 member countries. Okay, not only 20 member countries, there are 19 member countries, and 20th is European Union. So European Union as a group is a member of the G20. So here the 20th group is the European Union, comprising 28 member countries in itself. Okay, so if you talk about G20 members, so like one of the member is Canada, then United States of America, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, South Africa, then Saudi Arabia. This spelling is written wrong in this particular map. It is Saudi Arabia, then Italy, France, Germany, Turkey, Russia, China. Okay, so the South Korea, Indonesia, Australia, like that. So these are the member countries of G20. Okay, so member countries, you can visit the official website of these organizations to see if any recent development has happened. Okay, and to double check the member countries of these organizations. If we talk about G20 countries, so globally the G20 represents 65% of the world population. It represents 79% of the world trade, and it has a contribution of 84% in the world economy. Then 79% of the world carbon emission is done by these countries, okay, these G20 countries. Now, if we talk about group of 20 countries, it is an international forum for the governments and central bank governors from 19 countries and the European Union. The first G20 summit was held in Berlin, which is in Germany, okay, and it was hosted by the finance ministers of Germany and Canada. Okay, then the thing is, it was formed in 1999 to discuss policies relating to financial stability in the aftermath of Asian financial crisis of 1997 to 1998. Its agenda was expanded since 2008, including heads of governments or heads of states, as well as finance ministers and foreign ministers. Then there are no formal criteria for G20 membership, and the composition of the group has remained unchanged since it was established. Okay, since it was established, the composition of G20 remained as it is. Okay, then for the first time, India will host the annual G20 summit in 2022. Okay, for the first time, India will host the annual G20 summit in 2022. Okay, then if we talk about related information, there is something which is known as Osaka track. What is Osaka track? Okay, basically what happened in 2019 G20 summit. Okay, the Japan. Okay, so Japan has proposed Osaka track. It simply means like Japan wants to prohibit all the data localization initiatives of the member countries of G20. So this thing is not favored by India. India is in favor of data localization. Okay, so Osaka track is associated with data localization. Okay, then the 2019 G20 summit in Osaka discussed 8 themes which are crucial to ensure global sustainable development. Okay, that are global economy, trade and investment, innovation, environment and energy, employment, women's empowerment, development, and health. So these are the things related to group of 20. So I hope it was clear. Now let us move to the next topic for the day, which is group of 7. We are going to understand about group of 7. Why it was in news? Because India was recently invited as a special guest for attending the 45th group of 7 summit in France. Okay, so India was invited as a special guest. India is not a member of G7. India is a member of G20, but it is not a member of G7. If we talk about G7, it is an intergovernmental organization that was formed in 1975. Okay, its members are Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Okay, then one more important thing is that G20 does not have a formal constitution or a fixed headquarters. The decisions are taken by leaders during annual summits and are non-binding in nature. And India is not a member of G7 grouping. Okay. So I have included an image over here for you. Okay. This image constitutes detail about group of 5, G5, G4, G6, G20, G20 already we have discussed, and G77. So in your free time, you can go through these topics. Okay. Let us move to the next topic for the day, which is BRICS. We are going to understand about BRICS. Okay. Why it was in news? Because the 11th BRICS summit was held in Brasilia, Brazil, with the theme of economic growth for an innovative future. Okay. They adopted Brasilia Declaration. Okay. So the thing is, the 11th BRICS summit was held in Brasilia in Brazil, and the theme was economic growth for an innovative future, and they adopted Brasilia Declaration. Okay, if they talk about Brasilia Declaration, it was adopted in the BRICS Summit, 11th BRICS Summit that was held in Brazil. So let us learn about BRICS. Okay, so British economist, okay, his name is Jim O'Neill, had coined the acronym BRIC in 2011. It was officially formed in 2006, originally including Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Okay, its first summit took place in Russia in 2009. In 2010, South Africa became the 5th member of the grouping. Okay, so thereafter they have renamed it as BRICS. Okay, then BRICS has two important, initiatives. One is New Development Bank. Second is BRICS Contingent Reserve Arrangement. These are the two important things that you should be looking into. New Development Bank, our treaty was signed in 2014 to bring into existence this New Development Bank. And in this treaty, okay, every BRICS country contributes, like in New Development Bank, every BRICS country contributes equally to its corpus and has equal voting rights. Okay, every country contributes equally also, and they have equal voting rights. Then setting up of the BRICS Contingent Reserve Arrangement with an initial size of $100 billion to tackle short-term liquidity demands. Okay, both NDB means New Development Bank, and Contingent Reserve Arrangement were outcomes of the BRICS Summit in Fortaleza in 2014. Okay, this is the thing. Our Women's Business Alliance was launched at Brasilia in 2019 to bring a new perspective on business issues. Okay, a map has been included over here that talks about like what is the overall GDP of the BRICS. Okay, what is the population size of BRICS, and like how much area does it include globally. Okay, so this is all about BRICS. Now let us move to the next topic for the day, where we are going to understand about Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Okay, why it was in news? The countries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization adopted the Bishkek Declaration. Okay, in 19th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, which was recently held at Kyrgyzstan's capital Bishkek. Okay, so this 19th SCO Summit was held at Kyrgyzstan capital Bishkek. Okay, and they have adopted Bishkek Declaration. That's why it is important. So if we discuss about Shanghai Cooperation Organization, it is an Eurasian political, economic, and military organization. It is headquartered in Beijing, China. Okay, the origins of SCOs are traced to Shanghai 5 that included China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and Tajikistan. Okay, and that Shanghai 5 was established in 1996. Okay, in 2001, Uzbekistan joined the grouping and it was renamed as Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Currently, SCO has 8 member states, 4 observer states, 6 dialogue partners. And member states are China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, India, and Pakistan. These are the 8 member states of this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It has 4 observer states also. They are Afghanistan, Belarus, Iran, and Mongolia. It has 6 dialogue partners. They include Azerbaijan, Armenia, Cambodia, Nepal, Turkey, and Sri Lanka. The official languages of BRICS are Chinese and Russian. Okay, it has 2 official languages, Chinese and Russian. Then it has 2 permanent bodies also. One of the bodies, Shanghai Cooperation Organization Secretariat, which is based in Beijing, and the other permanent body is Executive Committee of the a regional anti-terrorist structure, RATS, okay, which is based in Tashkent, okay, which is based in Tashkent, and Tashkent is the capital of Uzbekistan, okay. So now its driving philosophy is known as the Shanghai Spirit, which emphasizes harmony, working by consensus, respect for other cultures, non-interference in internal affairs of others, and non-alignment. Okay. So I have included a map also. This map shows the member countries of BRICS. Okay. So one of the member countries is Russia. Okay. Second member country is China. Then third member country is like Tajikistan over here. Okay, so that is there, but name is written here. Okay, then Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Uzbekistan. Okay, then Kazakhstan and India. Okay, India. Okay, so these are the 8 member countries of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Let us move to the next topic for the day, which is Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. Okay, why it was in news? Because Ecuador has withdrawn its membership of OPEC. So this was in news recently. Okay, and the thing is, you can, I have included a reference link of OPEC member countries also. So there is some mismatch in the information that we see in different sources and that we see in the official website. So you can cross check the information over here using this reference link. I have included reference link for most of the organization that I have talked about. Okay, so you should at least visit those like websites to get the latest information if they have come up with any recent initiatives. Okay, so about OPEC, if we talk about OPEC, so it is an intergovernmental organization whose stated objective is coordinate and unify petroleum policies among member countries in order to secure fair and stable prices for petroleum producers, an efficient economic and regular supply of petroleum to consuming nations, and a fair return on capital to those investing in the industry. Okay, it is headquartered at Vienna, Austria. It was set up at the 1960 Baghdad Conference with Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela as founding members. Okay, so how many founding members they had? Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, okay, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. So these were the 5 founding members of Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. It accounts for an estimated 44% of the global oil production and 81.5% of the world's proven oil reserves. Okay, so I have included a map for you that talks about the OPEC members. Okay, these are the member countries. In this map, you will find there are 12 members, but in the official website, if you see, 13 members are being shown now. Okay, so you just need to cross check this information. Venezuela, Angola, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, then we have Algeria, okay, and we have Republic of Congo, we have Nigeria, we have Libya, we have Saudi Arabia, okay, we have Iraq, 10, we have Kuwait as 11th, we have Iran as 12th, then we have United Arab Emirates as 13. So 13 member countries are represented here. And if you go to the official website, they also have 13 member countries represented. Okay. So I have included a map for you. You just need to, revisit this map and try to learn the membership of OPEC. Then let us look into the next topic for the day, which is Arctic Council. We will learn about Arctic Council. Okay. Why it was in news? Because India was re-elected as an observer to the Arctic Council. That's why it was in news. Let us understand about the Arctic Council. It was established by the 8 Arctic states through an Ottawa Declaration of 1996. So this Ottawa Declaration of 1996 is important for you to remember because it is associated with the Arctic Council. And the member states of the Arctic Council are Canada. Okay, this is number 1. Then we have Denmark, number 2. Okay, Denmark includes Greenland and Faroe Island. Then we have Finland as number 3. Okay, we have Iceland number 4, Norway number 5, Russia number 6, Sweden number 7, and United States as number 8. So it has 8 member countries. Okay, Shanghai Cooperation Organization also has 8 member countries. Okay, we should not forget that. And it is not a formalized treaty based international legal entity and does not allocate resources also. Then 6 organizations representing the indigenous people of the Arctic Council have also been granted the status of permanent participants in the council. Okay, then one more important information about this Arctic Council, that the council does not prohibit the commercial exploitation of resources in the Arctic. And India became an observer for the first time in 2013. And India was recently re-elected. Okay, India was recently re-elected as an observer to the Arctic Council. Okay, so now let us talk about India and the Arctic region. So this information is very important. Okay, Himadri, which is India's only research station in the region, opened in 2008. Okay, so India has a research station. Its name is Himadri, which is in the Arctic region. Then we have National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research, was renamed as the National Center for Polar and Oceanic Research in 2018. Then there is a Norwegian program for research cooperation with India. Okay, INDNOR, India and Norway Bilateral Research Cooperation. This is an India and Norway bilateral research cooperation. The National Center for Polar and Oceanic Research signed a contract with FESCO Transportation Group for access to the icebreaker vessels, which will be utilized both for general cargo deliveries in the Antarctic stations, okay, and scientific activities in the Arctic region, as India currently lacks a polar suitable vessel. Then India's ONGC Videsh holds 26% stake in Russia's this is Vankor NAF project to produce hydrocarbons from Vankor field in Siberia. Okay, then IND-ARC is India's first underwater mode observatory in the Arctic region. Then 8th topic for the day is Caribbean community. We will understand about Caribbean community. It was in news recently. Okay, Prime Minister of India addressed the first India CARICOM Leaders Summit in New York. That's why it was in news. So let us understand more about the Caribbean community. Okay, it is a treaty among Caribbean countries to promote economic integration and cooperation among its members, to ensure that the benefits of integration are equitably shared, and to contribute foreign policy. Okay, it was formed in 1973, and chairmanship of the community is rotated every 6 among the member countries. Okay, so the thing is, chairmanship of the CARICOM rotates among the member countries every 6 months. It is a very important information. Its secretariat is at Georgetown in Guyana. Okay, then India CARICOM meet focused on fighting climate change and increasing India's participation with the grouping. India announced $14 million grant for the community's development project in CARICOM, and 150 million line of credit for solar, renewable energy, and climate change and related projects. Okay, so I have included 2 maps that shows the membership of the CARICOM states. So okay, this is the first map that you can go through once I share the PDF. Then this is the second map that you can go through. Okay, this is the thing. So this talks about the member countries of the CARICOM region. And if you want to get the official information, I have included a reference link for you. Okay, this is from the official websites. There is a specific page that talks about the CARICOM members. You can just go and see the membership in the website as well. Okay, then if we talk about this thing, Quito. Okay, Quito is in Ecuador. Then UN Habitat 3 took place here. Okay, so some important information. Okay, here the number 1 we have talked about Quito. It is in Ecuador. Okay, here UN Habitat 3 took place. Okay, then if we talk about Brasilia, which is in Brazil. Okay, 11th summit of BRICS took place over here. We have recently discussed. So this is an additional map for you. Okay, that you can refer to locate the important cities. Okay, in South America. Then we have Aconcagua mountain, which is in Argentina. It is the highest peak outside of Asia. Okay, like it is Andes mountain range. It is in Andes mountain range. So Quito, Brasilia, Mount Aconcagua. Okay, these are from north to south location. Okay, so you can just remember them. Then Puerto Williams is a city which is in Chile. So this is the southernmost city of the world that is also located over here. So they may ask a match the following or north to south arrangement related questions. So you should be, you know, ready for that thing also. Now let us talk about the last topic for the day, which is Indian Ocean Dialogue. We will understand about Indian Ocean Dialogue today. Okay. So why it was in news? Because the 6th Indian Ocean Dialogue was held in Delhi recently. Okay. 6th Indian Ocean Dialogue was held in Delhi recently. Let us understand more about Indian Ocean Dialogue. The Indian Ocean Dialogue is a flagship initiative of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. It is a track 1-5 discussion. Okay, it is a track 1-5 discussion. We will understand about what do we mean by track 1 discussion, track 2 discussion, or track 1 diplomacy and track 2 diplomacy. We will understand them in detail. Okay, so this Indian Ocean Dialogue is a track 1 discussion, encouraging an open and free throwing dialogue by academia and officials on strategic issues of the Indian Ocean region. Okay, then track 1 diplomacy involves both officials and non-officials. Okay, it involves both officials and non-officials. Non-officials are business leaders, business organizations, and all possible non-diplomats. Okay, and it is seen as a midway between track 1. Track 1 means like government diplomacy, only government participate in diplomacy between one another. Then track 2 diplomacy, which is a back channel diplomacy through non-state actors. Okay, track 2 diplomacy is back channel diplomacy through non-state actors. And I have included this map for you. This map talks about the all 22 member countries of the Indian Ocean Dialogue. Okay, so this Indian Ocean Rim Association basically. So Indian Ocean Rim Association has 22 member countries in it. What are those members? So I will just, you know, take you through these member countries once. So after then you can learn their name. Okay. So let us move from, you know, this South America, South Africa, then like we will make a clockwise rotation. Okay. So countries are, let us start with India itself. Okay. So India, Bangladesh, okay. Then we have Thailand, Malaysia, okay, Singapore, Indonesia, Australia, Mauritius, South Africa, Mozambique, Madagascar, Comoros Islands, okay, Comoros. Then we have Tanzania, we have Seychelles, we have Kenya, okay, we have Yemen, we have Oman, we have United Arab Emirates, we have Iran, okay. Some of these member countries are included over here, okay, and we have Sri Lanka also. Just a minute. Sri Lanka, okay. So I may be like missing out 2 countries over here. So their names have been included over here in this list, okay. So let us understand about this Indian Ocean Rim Association, okay. Indian Ocean Rim Association. It is an intergovernmental organization aimed at strengthening regional cooperation and sustainable development within the Indian Ocean region through its 22 member states and 9 dialogue partners. Okay, it has 22 member states and 9 dialogue partners. Okay, so the members include Australia, Bangladesh, Comoros, India, Indonesia, okay, India, Indonesia, Iran, Kenya, okay, Madagascar, Malaysia, okay, so Mauritius, Mozambique, Oman, okay, so I forgot that Oman, I think, Seychelles, okay, Seychelles is not there in this particular map. So Seychelles is an island nation. Singapore, Somalia, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, Maldives, and Yemen. These are the member countries. Then the major priorities and focus areas include fisheries management, blue economy, world economic empowerment, maritime safety and security. Okay, there is some related news also. It is not directly associated with Indian Ocean Dialogue or Indian Ocean Rim Association, but this topic is Delhi Dialogue. It is important. It is a premier annual event held since 2009 to discuss political, security, economic and socio-cultural engagement between India and ASEAN. It was held along with Indian Ocean Dialogue. the theme of, the theme of Delhi Dialogue was advancing partnership in the Indo-Pacific. Okay, advancing partnership in the Indo-Pacific. So that's all that I had to discuss today from my side. Okay, so any one of you having any queries or any